So there was some developments with the Jordan Neely case. As we know, Daniel Penny was charged with second-degree manslaughter in the case. And that charge, I knew he was going to get charged with manslaughter. I said that in my last video that he probably going to go with manslaughter. I mean, that just kind of, in my opinion, where they would go with it. Second degree, name first degree. Alvin Bragg really didn't want to charge him. That's really what that was. But many times we have talked about and we have preached over and over and over, not just me, but everyone who's out here who's trying to speak to you about having a code in the community, operating by a code, how to understand that the code is the leader, not an individual. Because when you start making individuals leaders, they become targets. And it's easier to take out that leader than to take out the initial code, because when you have the code, everybody understand what to do. Understand? We preach this over and over and over and over again. The white supremacists, I have to admit, are great at staying on code. They are born in the earth teaching the code of white supremacy. And the pillar of white supremacy is anti-black racism. That is the pillar of white supremacy. Daniel Penny, even though we saw the video, we all saw it, they got on code. They went in less than a week, raised $1.3 million for Daniel Penny in less than a week. Let's go on and we're going to go check this out on the actual site. We're going to read what these people are actually saying with their rabbit minds. But let's check this out. So this is Daniel Penny's legal defense fund. It was set up on Give, Send, Go. This is the place that at first they used to go to GoFundMe. People start going at GoFundMe. GoFundMe started taking their stuff down. They was going to Indiegogo. Indiegogo started taking their stuff down. Then they start going to Give, Send, Go, and they've been safe to raise money on that particular platform. Now, this is what being on code looks like. They didn't have to have a leader. They didn't look at a politician. Nothing like that. They just make a call and they get on code. $1.3 million they gave this guy for his legal defense fund. Not $1.3 million for maybe some people that need some help with cancer. Not $1.3 million to try to help the homeless situation maybe in one of their cities. Not $1.3 million to maybe invest in children's education. No, $1.3 million because we are defending the right for a white supremacist to take the life of a black person. They should not go to jail for that. Now, this campaign was created by his lawyers. And down here it says Daniel Penny is a 24-year-old college student, decorated Marine veteran, facing a criminal investigation stemming from him protecting individuals on an NYC subway train from an assailant who later died. He's talking like nothing. Wasn't the cause of anything. It just happened later, right? Say funds are being raised to pay Mr. Penny's legal fees incurred from any criminal charges filed or any future civil lawsuits that may arise, as well as expenses related to his defense. All contributions are greatly appreciated. Any proceeds collected which exceeded those necessary to cover Mr. Penny's legal defense will be donated to a mental health advocacy program in New York City. Now, I didn't hear the mainstream media advertising his fund. I didn't hear Fox, Newsmax, and none of them saying, hey, this is his fund, help him out. So they have in message boards where they're talking to each other and they all getting on code, right? And then we find out about it later after the fact. So I want y'all to see something here. Let's go here. Let's go to top donors. The top donor gave $10,000. $10,000. They say, thank you for protecting the citizens that day. Another one, $5,000. Do the right thing, Dan did. They say, it's not that tough. $3,000. $2,500 by Mark Mason. Another $2,500. God bless our brave vets. $2,000. $1,500 of Christopher Mesba. Clarence P. Wonka. They say this young man's action should be celebrated for saving lives. Like, these white supremacists in their mind really believe that what this guy did was saving somebody's life. This is what they have convinced themselves, and we got a video. It's not like this is like he said, she said. We have a freaking video, and them other two guys that was holding that brother down need to be charged too. They really believe in their mind that he just did nothing wrong with a video. He knew that Jordan passed out, and he still had to hold on him. That, to me, alone should get him convicted, because they say, hey, you seen him go out, you should let him go. But anyway, they say if he was identifying himself as a female and wearing the dress and eye makeup and did the exact same thing, he was invited to the White House by Biden and Harris. Sad but true that our current administration is the reason behind all these innocent heroes being prosecuted. No, Biden and Harris is not trying to prosecute none of y'all. The grassroots is putting foot to butt. That's all it is to it. RJ and AJ Ioward, another $1,200 they given. Another $1,000. Daniel Penny is American hero. He had the bravery to stand up and do the right thing. No tears for the who died. Another $1,000. This kid, he's a grown freaking man, but this kid deserves to be commended for his brave and selfless actions. Unfortunately, the upside down society we live in will unsuccessfully attempt to prosecute this great young man. He's great for ambushing a black person, a mentally ill black person that was having a episode. He's a hero for that. In white supremacist society, cowards are heroes. If you take the life of a black person, you're a hero, whether you're police or not. The key is getting away with it. It's the key. He says, I am sure he will get all the help he needs. Another $1,000. Luiso Ribeiro, Hispanic. And, you know, we talked about that issue with the domestic terrorists here in Texas being Hispanic and being a full-fledged card-carrying white supremacist. Oh, boy, that conversation is really spinning on people's head right now. Because some of them do think they white. Oh, yes, some of them do. Some of them detest being called white, and some of them want to be white. And it goes all the way back to Lulac and Felix Tijerina and all of that. Another one. Please fight for this young man. Heroes don't belong in prison. We all watched the video. This is white supremacy. So when you hear me calling them devils, when you hear me calling them the spawns of Satan, this is why. To them, that was heroic. To us, heroic is like pushing somebody out of the way from not getting hit by a car, or someone saving someone from getting shot, or running into a burning building and saving someone. Like, that's heroic. Or someone choking in a restaurant and that person know what to do and save their life. You know, like, that's heroic to the majority of people in society, right? But to the white supremacists, what you saw in that video was heroic. Let's continue. Another $1,000. Another $1,000. John K. Powers, Semper Fi. They said, thanks for protecting other people who on the train. I guess he said U.S., whatever it is. Another one here. Texas supports you. This Soros DA should be in a chokehold. So now this one is advocating that Alvin Bragg suffer the same thing. He said he is responsible for every crime, every death of a killer he lets free. Karma is a Soros boy, a.k.a. Chubby. Mike Davis, another $1,000. Another $1,000, $1,000. And then you have the regular ones giving $25. Keep the faith. $100, $20, $100. $20, another $10, Semper Fi. Another $10. It said, the people with you keep the faith. a Marine Carney. God bless Daniel Penny. I mean, the God you serve is not the God of heaven and earth. So just say Satan bless. That's all you need to say. But I just wanted to show y'all what happens when the code is the leader. Thank you for doing the right thing. They're trying to make an example out of you to scare others into standing by and not helping others. There are still decent people that see what's happening. Thanks again. Just Jen Reacts. YouTube. Who is Just Jen Reacts? Y'all know that person? This extra $100 is for every hateful comment I am getting, and I will be covering this story on my YouTube channel. And for the victims, Jordan Neely, mostly. This for Daniel Penny, 10,000 pennies for you, sir. Thank you for saving lives that day. Let's hope Daniel gets acquitted for this. He did a world massive favor that day by sneaking up behind a black person who didn't see him coming and put him in a chokehold with the assistance of two other people, because he didn't do it by himself. Godspeed and Semper Fi. So I just want y'all to see the sick and depraved white supremacists. Well, let's get back to what we got to say. When you hear me say that the white supremacist is Satan, when you hear me say that the white supremacist is in league with the devil, has made a covenant with the devil, what you saw on that particular fundraiser, that's why. That's why. Once again, we all saw the video. Most people who see that will say that's horrible. But in their minds, that was a beautiful thing. That was a great thing. Understand? And this is how these people have been forever. This is why I told y'all, the older that I become, the less patience I have with it. That's why I'm a little bit more, I would like to just have my distance. Understand? Because I know the code that the majority of them are on. They won't raise money for anything good, but they'll sure have money to try to, and listen, all this money that was raised is to try to keep him from going to prison. Because if he goes to prison, listen what one of them said when we read that earlier. When they said, they just trying to make an example out of you. See, for them, that's taking an L. They supposed to be there was a law they had called the Casual Killing Act, where they said if you were to end up killing one of your slaves, you wouldn't go to prison for it because, hey, it just what it is, just what you had to do to keep your slave in line. And they want to continue the Casual Killing Act in 2023. So what Daniel Penny did, he shouldn't be going to jail because that's just what he felt he needed to do at the time period. Understand? This is what they want because in their rabid mind, we got to keep the black people in line and we got to keep them in fear that we could take their life and nothing will happen to us at all. So what we're going to do, we're going to get money together in the thousands and try to keep him out of jail because it's more important to us that those black people feel that we could take their life at any time and nothing will happen to us. That's how important white supremacy and anti-black racism is to these people. That's how important it is. They will take thousands of dollars of their own money during the time period where groceries is high and inflation is high and everything is high. But they got money for that. This is what they got money for. Black people, this is what a code actually looks like. What if we actually operated in a code like them? We get tired of preaching to you about being on code, being on code, being on code, being on code, being on code. And notice that political divide, it goes away real quick when it comes to being on code with white supremacy. Because you had the New York Post defending him, right wing. You had the New York Times, left wing, defending him. You had Fox News defending this guy. You had CNN. You had Democrat mayor, Democrat governor trying to defend this guy. Everybody was on code with white supremacy. Don't matter about Democrat or Republican. Didn't matter. When we tell you about being on code, that's what a code looks like. Nobody was infighting. Nobody was saying, hey, Daniel Penny don't need no money. Shoot, he don't need no money. You hear none of them say that? And if any of them think it, guess what they do? They don't say it. They keep it to themselves. You understand? They know not to step out of line when all of them are getting on code to that level. But in our community, you all got some raccoon saying something against black folk. We fight for stupidity. We fight for things that we don't even have yet, and we still fighting over it. It gets exhausting sometimes talking to a lot of you about being on code. And we have to sit here and watch these people be on code. If we were on code like they're on code, we wouldn't have the problems we have today. Not a single one. But because a lot of you has an affinity for those people, in which they code is to be against you, this is why we in the condition that we're in. Now, I saw some people saying, oh, we need to go and we need to try to get that shut down. Why? Why do you want to shut down his fundraiser? I don't like that shut down cancel culture thing. I don't like that. I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Because when we need to raise some money for something, and because now a precedent has been set to start just shutting people's stuff down because we didn't like something, now when we go do it, now they really going to shut ours down because they look for any little thing to shut ours down anyway. I like to see who's giving the money. I like to see how much they're giving. Why shut it down? Let him have it. You're not going to stop them from giving him money by shutting that down. They're going to figure out all kind of ways. They got to go put up a Zelle. If they got to go put up whatever, you're not going to shut that down. George Zimmerman got all kind of money. And y'all trying to shut his stuff down every which way you can. No, I like to see who doing the talking. I like to see who doing the moving. I like to see all that. That way we know. But my thing is, when are we going to get on code? When are we going to put aside the differences and understand that let's be on code? Black folks still fighting about Democrat. Black people won't even talk to you if you're not a Democrat. Or you're not a Democrat shield. They don't want to talk to you. This is the stupidity that's in our community. And unfortunately, the majority is on some Democrat shilling. I'm not talking about just the anointed shields. I'm talking about just your everyday black folk. If it's not a Democrat, but then now, in which I'm going to do a live stream on this, now, because of Democrats, look at what's happening in Chicago when they're going to put all the migrants in the black people community. South Shore. If we was all on code and focusing on fixing our community, don't matter what our political ideology is, we wouldn't have these problems. When are we gonna get on? When are we as a people gonna say enough is enough? We black, we got issues and problems. Let's be on code about this. No raccooning. If you want a raccoon, just keep it to yourself. And unfortunately, the issue is global. The issue is actually global. It's not just in America. It's a global issue of black folks being like this. I mean, it's just amazing to me. I'm like the way these people have treated us for hundreds and hundreds of years globally. How are we even having a debate about these people? How are we having a debate about getting on code? How is that even a debate? I don't get that. It's like some of you love your oppression. I think you would know how to function without it. Now I'm talking about globally. These people do things to us and we don't get on code enough. Yes, we starting to move a little bit more on these politicians. Alvin Bragg, trust me, would not have charged him if the people wouldn't own him. Trust me, he wouldn't have. But Alvin Bragg may try to throw this case. Do you remember with George Zimmerman case? They literally threw the case. They threw it, literally. They literally threw that. If you listen, go back and look at that case. The prosecutors literally was not objecting to anything. Let the defense just literally talk all day long. Barely said anything. Like, they didn't want to win that case. They didn't. So that's the next thing you got to worry about. Alvin Bragg and them throwing the case. Like you would throw a football game or something like that. When I tell you the white supremacist, it's the devil that the Bible speaks of. That go send whatever it is, give, send, go. That's what I mean. They have money to invest into one of theirs to make sure that he don't go to jail for taking the life of a black person. You can't reform that, ladies and gentlemen. You can't reform it. And you need to get it through your little silly heads that you can't reform that. I understand it. I get it. I get it 100%. How I view it, just as much as you can't make a dog stop barking because that's in the dog. That's what dogs do. This is what the white supremacists do. My conversation is not about changing them. My conversation is about you. What are you going to do? Because it gets frustrating at times dealing with black folk. Because we have the potential to be 1,000 times further than where we at today. And yet we're still infighting on stupidity. We have some great minds, great orators, all kind of great people in our community. We can't even unify because everybody got an ego. Let's call it what it is. That's one of the biggest things that I see out here is everybody's ego. Sometimes some of y'all have told me in the past, Phil, why don't all y'all just don't get together and work together? It's not me. It's not me at all. I've said that a long time ago. It's never been me. But everybody got an ego. Everybody's right. Everybody's smarter than the other one. The white supremacists put all that mess aside and they get on code. They fight too. Oh yeah, they infight. But they know when to stop. They know when to say, okay, let's put all that mess aside. Yeah, I really don't like you, but let's put this to the side because we white right now. And we got to get on code on them black folk. And after we do accomplish the mission we're trying to accomplish, we can go back to fighting then. And I said it to black folk. We ain't all gonna have to like each other. I'm like this. I can work with a whole lot of people. I don't live. You don't live in my house. I don't live in yours. We can get some things done, and then go on with our respective lives underneath just being black. But no, we don't want to do that. Religion, ideology. I don't like him because of this. I don't like her because. And this is why we still in the position that we're in. We going multiple ways, trying to go the exact same way, but we're going 50 ways, trying to get to the same location. Instead of saying, hey, it'd be faster we all get together and just head one direction. But unfortunately, that's why we're in the position that we're in. But until we decide to get on code for real, we're going to stay losing. And there's always a minority of people taking on the load for this community. Always a minority. It's never the majority. And that mess needs to stop. But let me know what y'all think about this, ladies and gentlemen, about the white supremacists, how they get on code when it's time to try to defend one of theirs so they can get away with taking the life of a black person. I want to thank you for all your comments, new subscribers. Appreciate you coming by. If you're just your first time here, make sure to, you appreciate the program, leave us a super chat. You know, if it's after the fact, leave us a super thanks. We greatly appreciate it. Or you subscribing to us on Facebook. We greatly appreciate that. Or sending us stars on Facebook as well. Greatly appreciate that. And we'll see you on the next one.